Of course, I'm sneezing. And I have to go to work. Oh, like this. Can't stand having to sneeze. Oh. Man, I hate this. Dumbass. Okay, where's my... Okay, right there. Here we go. Oh yes, George. Still.
From the heartland of America and the gateway to the West, good morning, good evening, wherever you may be across the nation, around the world. I'm George Norrie. This is Coast to Coast AM. Later tonight, the idea, the brain. Here's what's happening. A man accused of opening fire in an Atlanta medical facility waiting room Wednesday, killing one woman, wounding 4 others, now in custody. Atlanta police have announced the apprehension of a 24-year-old man at around 8 p.m., almost 8 hours after the deadly shooting. The shooting occurred shortly after noon. My gosh. The Federal Reserve has raised its benchmark interest rate by 1/4 point, but opened the door to a long-awaited pause in its most aggressive tightening campaign since the 1980s. The widely expected and unanimous decision puts the key benchmark federal funds rate at a range of 5% to 5.25%, the highest since August of 2007. Registered investment advisor Mish Sedlock with us. Mish, here we go again.
Here we do. The press conference was kind of interesting, but first let's go over the key points in Powell's statement. He said that inflation is elevated. He said the banking system is sound and resilient, but he warned about tighter credit conditions. He said they're likely to weigh on economic activity that goes along with the Fed's prediction of a recession, although Powell personally said today in the press conference he doesn't think a recession is coming. That's just the staff opinion that a recession is. George, I'll go with the staff. The committee will take in accounts and lags into rate hikes. They're going to continue quantitative tightening, and they're fully committed to return to 2% inflation objective. Now, during the press conference, one reporter asked him about projections, about what the market is expecting. I did a snapshot before the meeting and after the meeting, and Powell dismissed the idea that they're going to be cutting anytime soon, but the market, at least the bond market, reacted the other way. Looking out ahead to March, the bond market expects, bettors expect, that's what we're talking about here based on futures positioning, that the Fed's going to cut all the way to 3.75%. In March of next year, and in December the Fed's looking at, or the market's looking at 4.25. So what's happening here is the market expects a pause in next month, and then a 1/4 point hike in September, 1/4 point hike in November, 1/4 point hike in December, a 1/4 point hike in January, and a 1/4 point hike in March. At every meeting between now and March. Now, we'll see. The only way we're going to see these kinds of cuts that the market projects is if we have a pretty severe recession and inflation comes down. So either Powell's wrong or the market's wrong. We're just going to have to keep a watch on that. One more thing, though, George.
Yeah.
Powell, the first thing he said was the banking system is strong and resilient. There's another bank that plunged 50% today, PacWest. People are betting that we're going to have another bank failure, so that's something else we need to keep a watch on.
They're all happening all over the place. Thanks, Mish. A sudden increase in brain activity at the moment of cardiac arrest may be what causes people to see a bright white light while experiencing near-death experiences, according to a new study. The study, which was published in the peer-reviewed Proceedings of the National Academy of Science Journal examined the brain activity of 4 dying patients, and between 10 and 20% of the people who survived near-death experiences tend to describe the moment as a bright light or say that they saw dead loved ones among the others on the visual experiences. Many people look at this with a little skeptics, but the new study may have found a scientific explanation for this phenomenon, we shall see. If your parents or grandparents ask you how to post on Instagram or how to send a birthday message to a Facebook friend, a new study suggests you might want to help them. Not just to be nice, but because getting them online may help their brain health too. A study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society suggests that the older people who regularly use the internet were less likely to develop dementia. How about that? Howard Bloom, author of The Global Brain, with us here. Howard, that's an interesting study.
It's a very cheerful story. And the story is 3 researchers from New York University have shown something startling. You can cut your risk of dementia in half with a simple trick, using the internet for roughly 2 hours every day. Dementia is a state in which your brain shrinks and your memory gives out on you. It often comes with old age. In extreme cases of dementia, you can forget where you are, what year it is, and who the people around you are, even if they are the people you love the most in the world. The NYU researchers studied 18,154 adults between the age of 50 and 65 for up to 17 years. The results were amazing. The age at which these study subjects showed signs of dementia was not related to their level of education, their race, their ethnicity, or their sex. But the onset of dementia was related to one critical factor: using the internet. People who use the internet daily for up to 2 hours were half as likely to slide into dementia as folks who did not use the internet. Regular internet usage cut the risk of dementia in half, and added the researchers being a regular internet user for longer periods in late adulthood was associated with delayed cognitive impairment. In other words, if you want to dodge the brain decay of old age, start using the internet daily in your 50s or earlier. CNN's coverage of this NYU study added something crucial. Older adults use the social networking sites at CNN can also increase their connection to other people and reduce isolation. Some studies have shown that older people who are lonely were 3 times more likely to develop dementia. And as Surgeon General Vivek Murthy declared yesterday, loneliness is a public health epidemic. Loneliness slowly kills you, literally. But the internet is the ultimate relationship maker. If you can't relate to anyone in your hometown, you can find people on your wavelength in Serbia, Spain, or South Africa on the internet. But there's another health secret to the internet. The real key to dodging dementia is use it or lose it. Use your brain on just about anything, from crossword puzzles to video games, and you can delay dementia. You can delay what used to be called senility. Why? Your brain is composed of 100 billion neurons, 100 billion brain cells. Those neurons are profoundly social. They are constantly trying to build long, skinny connections to other neurons. Your brain has roughly 100 trillion of these connections. They're called synapses. If the feelers your neurons put out to other brain cells are not welcomed by the neurons they're asking to connect with, your rejected neurons are likely to be sidelined, to degenerate, and ultimately to die. And dying neurons help produce dementia. Dying neurons and rejected nerve cell connections make you forgetful and dull-headed in your old age. So how do you prevent your neurons from dying out? You make sure that when they reach out for connections to other brain cells, they're welcome. And just how do you go about that? You use your brain. You challenge it. You don't sit and watch TV all day. You go out and walk. You exercise. You play board games. You take courses at a local university. You talk to friends. You join an organization whose work you believe in and get together with others in the group and projects. And if you want to cut your chances of dementia in half, you use the internet for roughly 2 hours a day.
Well said, Howard. Good research. In a moment, one of the world's foremost UFO investigators, Paula Harris, joins us. Her latest work, connecting the dots, making sense of the UFO phenomenon. Paula is next on Coast to Coast AM. Looking to switch to the most trusted wireless brand? Choose Consumer Cellular. They have been offering superior nationwide coverage for over 27 years. Switch today and save up to half on your wireless bill. They offer unlimited talk and text with a flexible data plan starting at just $20 a month. Their award-winning customer support team makes switching easy. You can keep your phone and number, and activation is free. Plus, you can add a family member to your plan for just $15 a month. Never worry about dropped calls because Consumer Cellular has the exact same coverage as the major carriers, with coverage to over 99% of the nation. This is all backed by their 100% risk-free guarantee. Also, with Consumer Cellular, you could save up to $250 a year. Go to consumercellular.com/Nori, and for a limited time, get $25 off your wireless bill when you use promo code Nori. That's consumercellular.com/Nori, and use promo code Nori for $25 off.
Look, I'm not a doctor nor a health professional, just a guy interested in health and what makes people healthy, or not. In the U.S., the model of prescribing more and more prescription drugs that cause more and more side effects that lead to even more prescription drugs is making us a sicker nation. All we desire is just the opposite, to be healthier, not sicker. It's time for all of us to be more educated about the important roles proper nutrition and disease prevention play in making us a healthier society. I recommend that you visit the website criticalhealthnews.com, where there's a wealth of information and modular nutrition packages that have already changed many lives for the better. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, please check out the free health audios, videos, and articles at criticalhealthnews.com.
Or call 1-855-949-RADIO. That's 1-855-949-7234. And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie with you. Paula Harris back with us, photojournalist, investigative reporter in the field of UFOs and extraterrestrial-related phenomena research. She's also widely published. Freelance writer, she has studied ET-related phenomena since 1979 and is on personal terms with many of the leading researchers in the field. From 1980 to 86, she assisted Dr. J. Allen Hynek with his UFO investigations and has interviewed many top military witnesses concerning their involvement in the government truth embargo. She has a master's degree in education, teaches history and photojournalism, as well as online classes in exopolitics for Michael Sala's Exopolitics Institute. Her latest work is called Connecting the Dots, Making Sense of the UFO Phenomenon. Paula, welcome back. Always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Well, it's a pleasure to talk to you again, George. I'm so happy to hear you.
How have you been?
I'm doing well. I'm doing an awful lot of traveling, and most of the traveling I'm doing is outside the country. I'm on my way to Paris and Milan to do a story in Milano, in Italy, and then I just came back from Argentina and Chile. So you know I love to travel around the world and do it, the field research.
Oh, absolutely. And you do it better than anybody, Paula. You do. And it's amazing.
Thank you. I think that's the only way to do it, George. I mean, I don't sit at home and talk to people on the phone. It's like I have to go and look at them and see their body language and check out. And I was just thinking about some of the work I've done in New Mexico. I'm on my way back to New Mexico. I check out the cemeteries. I check out the city. I check out all of it because it's all interrelated.
It absolutely is. And aren't you amazed at what's been going on in the field of ufology lately with these videos and everything else?
Yeah, I am, and I don't know what to make of it, Rudy. I mean, I haven't come to any conclusions. People ask me all the time, and I say, and I'm one of the people that says, I just don't know. You know, I'm hoping that we get some clarity about what may come out of the government. I'm hoping we get some clarity and people start a dialogue. What I love to see is people starting some kind of dialogue and coming together on this.
Absolutely. You're a tough investigative reporter, Paula. You're known for those word-for-word interviews. And your new book, of course. Tell us a little bit about connecting the dots.
Well, everybody asks me what my conclusion are, and of course, you know, they don't like it when they like me to have a clear philosophy, a clear conclusion. But you and I know that this is a dimensional phenomenon. It's got the paranormal in it. It's got time travel. It's got all of this stuff that you have to wrap your mind around. So how in the world can you come to a conclusion unless you put it all in there? And so this book has a new preface about what I think is happening, but it interviews everybody from Zacharias Sitchin, Robert Hughes, Leo Sprinkle. It's got a brand new interview with the daughter of Kenneth Arnold. It's very long, as she talks about. I didn't know that the wife of Kenneth Arnold was a medium. She had psychic abilities. And you know, it makes sense. Some of these people that are chosen to be contactees or see UFOs or be important have these abilities. And then there's a section on Monsignor Bolducci, David Icke, and then I have a whole section on the paranormal, Ingo Swan and my friend Uri Geller, and I saw you just had him on, Paul Smith, Courtney Brown. Yep. I have to include it all. I interviewed all of these people, and they told me what they told me, so I can't distort it. I did it with tape recorder, and so I put it in this book. And you know, the part I like is that people can decide for themselves. I don't believe in telling people what to think. They read it all. They read the weirdness of it, and then they will come to some kind of conclusion. The sad part about it, and I will say this, is that we lost Clifford Stone, with whom I was very, very close, and the Honorable Paul Hellyer, with whom I spent a lot of time. We lost them last year, and every time I lose some friends and people that I've worked with for such a long time, it's very distressing.
Absolutely. And we lost Stanton Friedman a few years ago, and he was one of our favorites, Paul.
Yeah, I know. It's you know, I'm old too. I'm going to say this. This weekend I'm going to turn 78. It's like
you're not old. You're still a spring chicken.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. And I say probably significant since she worked with Alan Hynek 40 years or more. You know, this is a long time. And people like us that just accumulate the data and try to make sense out of it and come to the conclusion that the answer may be there is no answer. You know, it's just the process of doing the data collecting and enjoying the journey that's important. I think I want to tell your listeners that for me, it's the journey.
What is also one of the favorite parts of your book, Connecting the Dots?
Well, okay, so there's the nuts and bolts part, because, you know, Alan Hynek was nuts and bolts, and Leo Sprinkle was contactee, and so forth. My favorite part was the end, when I start dealing with the whole work with the Ingo Swan and remote viewing. I'm fascinated by that. When I talked to Uri Geller, when I was with Uri Geller in Italy, and the strangest things happened, and, you know, he's amazing. You know, to connect, I'm wondering who these people are, really, you know, to connect the fact that remote viewing, Michael Wolff did remote viewing for the CIA, that remote viewing or, you know, clairvoyance and ESP is part of this. And I think the most fascinating part for me is that all of the stories landed in my lap. I never sought them out. The fact that I was in Colonel Corso's room at the 50th anniversary, room next door to Colonel Corso, I'm sorry. Colonel Corso, the room next to Colonel Corso, when I didn't know who he was, I didn't read the book, and I was assigned to go there. And the whole place was like one big party in 1997. All the rooms were booked, but the one room I got was next to him. I mean, that's not normal. So I've been looking at all the coincidences and synchronicities in my life, and I've come to the conclusion, I mean, this is going to sound strange to you, but it's almost like my whole career was pre-programmed.
It might have been, Paula.